Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Town of East Hampton Architectural Review Board meeting of January 11th, 2018. It's the start of another year, and I have been reappointed very gratefully, and I appreciate the town board's confidence as the chair. This is my fourth year as chair. It's my ninth year on the board, and Peter Gumpel has been appointed again as vice chair. We're glad to have Peter. And I understand we have some other changes too, so we'll move forward. It's going to be a very good year, and this is our first meeting of the year, and I'm looking forward to it very much. So we're going to start with fence walls and berms for the Robert J. Grau Living Trust for Madeline Van John, representing tax map number 300-77-5-1.4 for 221 Three Mile Harbor, Hog Creek Highway. Scott, I didn't see you. I'll get to you right after.
Hello.
Hi, Madeline. Just introduce yourself for the record, if you would, please.
Madeline Van John.
Great. Peter?
Has this been, why is this before us? Because the fence is there, was it
It is
in
the fence.
violation?
Yeah, parts of it are higher than 6 feet, so code enforcement issued a warning and asked us to come here. Parts of it are 6 feet, like the fence itself is 6 feet, but parts of it, because it's mounted higher, parts of it go higher than 6 feet, so we need your approval.
Because of the grade?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, this is a fence, right, on a property on 3 Mile Harbor Road, which is adjacent to the marina. Right.
Which marina?
Shagwan.
Shagwan Marina. It is on the north side of Shagwan?
Yeah,
or
yeah, this house is on the north side of
On
Shagwan. Yeah.
the north side of Shagwan. And I guess for privacy, they built a stockade fence. I couldn't get in because the snow was a little bit deep there, but I took some photographs of it. What we're talking about is a fence, right, that is on this little portion here. It's not continuous. It's on that side of it, right? From what I have seen, right, and this is a photograph I took from it, which you can look at, I don't see a problem in it being at 6 foot 5 inches, and recommend that we accept it as submitted.
Any questions?
It looks like it's quite a distance back from the road.
Oh, you can't even see it from the road, right?
Except if you're in the marina.
Right. It separates, it's a privacy fence really from the marina.
Is that a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we
Like a second?
accept it as submitted.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'd like to call out of order, if you would all appreciate it, the East Hampton Indoor Tennis Club for Scott Rubenstein, the tax map number 300-181-1-5.1, 175 Daniels Hole Road. Okay,
You're gonna wrap it now, just in case for 174 Daniels Hall Road.
oh, that's good to know too.
We've been 175 for 24 years.
So are you here for a tarp or a tent?
Top or a tent? Oh, we have a top over the building. To tell everybody, if you want to get ahead of the line, burn your business down.
No, we don't want to
They
do
feel bad.
that. Okay.
Solar, we want to go green.
All right, which is great. Let me just read it into the application itself. Well, it just says rooftop solar panel installation. Why don't you just explain the two roofs that it's going on?
Okay, so most of it's going to go on the indoor tennis roof, which is a 130, actually 765 by 310, all faces south. And then a small portion of it's going to go on the new bowling building roof that we're building right now. The goal now, we have room, it looks like we're going to be at 0 for the tennis business. We're not sure with bowling because we're just learning. We're going to learn how much electricity we're going to use, but we're going to We're trying to get to 0 there, and if we need more, we'll put more on.
Typical power. Nothing unusual about it. Great idea.
So they lay flat on the roof.
Right against it.
And it's going on both, you said, bowling and
Yeah,
tennis?
bowling antennas, yes.
Yeah, there's really nothing else here. I'd like to make a motion to approve this as presented. We have any other questions, or do we have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very
Great,
much.
thank you very much. Thank you.
Is on the tennis, is it the entire,
The one's not the same, yes.
the entire roof of the tennis, but on the new building, it's just one side?
It's only on the one side, and I'm not sure if it's the entire side of that. That's a good question. I didn't answer. For Uri Tint, tax map number 300-159-4-45.4, 29 Hedgerow Lane.
Hi, good evening. Karen Hogue from the law firm of Timmy Latham Shea.
Hi, Karen.
And this is Mr. Tint.
Hello, Mr. Tint. That's great. Thank you for coming. Peter?
This is a application for a fence and a gate on the property, which is pre-existing.
Right.
Right. I don't quite know how you comply with the town requirements of a fence or a gate facing a public street not being higher than 6 feet.
Well, actually, the gate was put in sometime prior to 2004. As you can see on this aerial, you can see where the gate was. There was a CO last issued on the property in 2000, which included all the fencing, which mainly the fencing, if you look at the 2000 survey, it was the
Is
fencing.
it actually in the C of O, or is it just the attached survey?
It says with proper fencing in the rear
Okay,
of the
well,
property.
I don't understand that because it appears that that fence went into the scenic easement. So I don't know how you could have gotten a C of O with a fence in the scenic easement.
The fence that's in the scenic easement is incorrect and should be removed from the survey. It's not there.
Well, then I need a current survey. That's another
Right,
problem that we have.
right, which is in the works. We have contacted John Burilski. We're on his schedule. We just haven't gotten the survey yet. He hasn't been able to do the field work, but we are on the schedule because this whole back easement is open.
Okay, Peter, were you able to walk the property to see how much the property was enclosed? It appears that much of the property is enclosed with fencing. Is that correct? Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. That's got to change also and be reduced to 50% of the property. So I suggest that when you have your new updated survey, you take a hard look at where your fences are, that you comply with what the code reads. If you have any questions, you can call our office. Happy to help you.
Okay, understood. In terms of the gate, is there,
Again, it has to comply with the current code.
but
You're
there's nothing,
looking for a C of O eventually for this. You will have to come into that conformance. I'm not familiar with the gate. Can you speak to the gate at all? What's the height on it here?
It varies, right, and there are also lights on the adjacent poles.
And when did these gates go up?
these gates went up sometime prior to 2004.
How tall are the posts before the light fixtures?
The posts themselves are 7 feet. With the light fixtures, it's 8'4".
Okay.
And what prompted us to apply to ARB is that Mr. Ten had received a violation for not having a building permit for the gate and the posts.
What about the adjacent pedestrian gate as opposed to the vehicular gate?
That was put in, I put that in, I had that put in. In order so I can go in and out of my property.
Right, without
That was a
having
that's-
to open the vehicular gates. Yeah.
And I copied my,
We can understand that, but you'd still need a permit to
Right,
be able to do that.
right, which we would apply for a
Okay.
permit.
We need the survey. Come back to us.
With the
Postpone
survey.
this with the survey. Understand that the fencing has got to be reduced to approximately 50% of the property. Understand the code rules as to the height of the gate and to the height of the fences facing a public street so that you're in compliance and you don't have to go through this process more than once.
No, understood that. I don't see anything in the town code regarding heights of driveway gates.
That's
6
because
feet.
gates are part of fencing. We are doing a proposal for a code change to make it, clarify it and actually separate it out and make it clear. However, historically, the town and the intent of the town when they put in fences, walls, and berms were that gates were part of those fences and walls.
Right, but it's not clear. So my understanding is that there's a...
We just made it clear.
That is
understood.
the interpretation, and that is how the building inspector, chief building inspector has interpreted it, and that's why she referred the matter to ARB for approval.
But when the gates went in and the posts went in back in prior to 2004, that wasn't the policy of the building department. The building department didn't require a certain height.
The fence height was part of the code at that time in 2004.
But then, I guess my question is when COs were issued after the gate and was put in with the posts.
If the C of O says a gate at that height was approved, then your C of O would take precedent. But as far as I know, there is no C of O that says that you have a gate that's allowable above the 6 foot.
Right, but I guess my question is why wasn't it issued back in 2004 when another CO was issued?
I can't speak to why they issued you a C of O for something that
Was illegal, well, is
needed
what
approval.
you're saying isn't compliant. Okay, well,
Okay.
we'll get a survey and we'll come back with the new survey.
Okay, I look forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
You can take one if you'd like. That's just our agenda. If anybody else would like an agenda, there are copies up here. It's going pretty quickly that night. Garrett Hall has been postponed. Brett Benza, tax map number 300-87-2-39.2, 14 Maple Avenue in Montauk. Michael, introduce yourself, please. Right, Betsy.
Hey, Michael. Okay, so this has been before us back in August as well as at the last meeting. And this is a very long retractable gate that's at 14 Maple Avenue. And the application is to approve it, and it says that it's 5'8", but when you actually measure it with the grade, it is more like 6.5 feet. And the problem that I believe we all had with this was...
This is the one we've seen several times.
Many
Yes,
times.
yes. Well, when Richard was out back in August,
Yep.
it was across the driveway. There's no openings. It's basically a retractable wall. And when Michael came back to us, he said that they had done some more landscaping in front of it to ease the eye, and I was out there, with the snow, and basically what you can see is there's some, they might be laurels. They're only about 4 feet. There's a few scattered rough little hollies, and then I think they had planted some beach grass, unless that's there when it was green. So there is some plantings there from the road. The plantings don't obscure it because it's so massive that I'm reluctant to approve it.
What we see is what we get.
Anybody want to see the photos?
I'd like to.
The landscaper did a landscape plan. He's since planted it based on the landscape plan.
Kind of meager.
What?
Meager. Meager.
No, I disagree. I think...
You think it softens the look of it?
I do. I think there's quite a few plants there. And I think quite a few...
This is
I think the
Depends what
hollies-
angle you're coming. If you're coming down the hill or going up the
It's
hill.
open, but it retracts across the
I don't
driveway.
know about that. I think
You see?
I think it's very thoroughly planted. I mean, the plants clearly were just planted.
Correct.
But the holly that they planted are 5 feet tall.
I don't have any
I mean,
problem.
that's sort of like about as tall as you can
I don't have any problem with the gate. It's a beautiful gate. I wish it weren't opaque. I wish it weren't a wall, which it basically is. And we were looking to your guidance for landscaping to be able to soften the effect so that this is not in somebody's face as they're looking up that driveway. You don't believe that it's resolved the issue?
Well, no, I think it's very minimal, the landscaping. Is there any way that it could, that some of this, every other or every two slats could be removed from it to alter the wall effect? I understand the nature of the gate mechanically. It would be virtually impossible to cut it because of all the mechanics, but
To me, it is the most unnecessary gate for that property.
Yeah,
And
as I
the
said
last
initially,
month or
I
two since
didn't
I've been there, it's
build the
been
gate,
open.
I didn't design the gate.
I'm not taking off on you. I'm just making a statement.
What's the problem with a lot of these products? Customer homeowners order these things, and they
Yeah.
push the button that says 6 feet in height.
Yeah.
And
But we don't do opaque and we don't do walls.
It's
So we
just so
don't-
massive.
thought we already got.
How are we gonna get
past-
out of this
thought-
problem
thought we
with this?
already got past a lot of this. I thought the landscaping was pretty robust. I mean, if you look at that plan, there's
I've
But,
seen,
but here's the
60
point.
plants on the outside.
Excuse me just for 1 minute. The point is though, you can't landscape in front when the gate is closed across the driveway. So the only way that the landscape is doing anything is when the gate is completely open and that it's behind the landscaping. But if this gate is always closed, it's still a wall.
Just see that.
When I was out, the gate was open, and that's why there's the space on the driveway.
So what are you saying?
You can see a bunch of the hollies on both sides. They're actually taller than 6 feet.
well, the other option is to make the gate go away completely. So maybe we can have a compromise somewhere along the line where we can get a little more planting so we don't,
I
it's
mean,
not
they're also,
quite in your face.
this picture doesn't reflect what's there currently. I think what's there currently, there's also some tall cryptomeria that were planted on each side of the...
Oh, I didn't see any cryptomeria. I saw a few hollies here. That was from the summer. There's a few hollies here, and there's some type of like laurel bushes in here. My point is that when the gate is closed, that's when the wall becomes more apparent and there's no landscaping in the driveway. So unless they keep the gate constantly open so that it's behind the landscaping, what's the point of having it then?
Well,
I'm reluctant to
we-
approve it because it sets a precedent for walls.
Is there a way, Michael, to take every other slat off so that the gate is more transparent, or not more, right now it's solid, becomes transparent?
no, there isn't.
No?
There's an ugly frame too that's on the inside that then would be visible through the...
For the fencing as well as the gate?
It's just
The
a
wall
gate.
portion?
It's just a
It
gate.
moves.
It's all...
Oh, it's all just one, it's all one, that's one.
It's a
gigantic-
sliding-
Oh, my God.
It's a
Yeah,
retractable
it's
wall.
one big sliding...
That's
Wall.
huge.
Yeah.
I
You
mean, I
know,
thought we
if you
kinda
go
got-
in the neighborhood
I mean, I
too,
thought-
it's just,
It's
It
the
is.
only one there. There's no other gates.
Well, I don't know about, that's not true. I think right at the corner of...
There-
Well,
there's-
that's
there's
on-
nothing
that's
like
old-
this.
That's on Old Montauk Highway. I'm talking about when you get off the
It's
highway
6
and
feet
come
tall.
up.
There's a gate just 2 houses away
Okay.
that's 6 feet tall with 2 6-feet-high pillars. That was...
is there any other way that you have that this could be remediated? Any other suggestions?
No, that's why when we met before, I said, is there some way to do this with landscaping? Because
Well, the landscaping obviously doesn't cut it, because we both are in agreement on that, and I think that the board itself probably would lean not toward a wall. So I think it's going to go down, Michael, if we can't make some kind of compromise here.
Well, we thought there was a solution, so we, based on the meeting from this board, we went back to the homeowner, and they spent $5,000 or $6,000 on landscaping. They did a landscape plan, they installed it, and now we're sort of going backwards. I mean,
No, we're
it's
not
like-
going backwards at all, and the
Well,
dollar
that's-
amount is unimportant.
And the landscape plan wasn't presented to the board, was it?
So, no, we never saw that.
Yeah.
Ed, you have a feeling on it?
I have not seen it in context, but I take Betsy's point that it's massive for the neighborhood.
Edwin?
I agree.
Peter?
I agree with Betsy.
Want to make a motion?
To deny it?
To deny.
I make a motion to deny the
Well, we-
application.
Can we presented the landscape plan?
You seem
They-
hesitant and reticent to do so.
No, I said we've presented the landscape
You
plan.
did.
No.
We found it no, we've not seen a plan. We've seen what you've done.
Yes, I've submitted a plan.
I don't have a plan.
Well, that was the whole point. We submitted a plan.
No, as a matter of fact, this was in front of the board in August.
Right.
And you.
We're going to.
Right, and then unless you submitted it to the office, you never came before the board until last meeting, correct? About this.
We haven't seen you on this project since that time.
Yes, we were here 8 months ago.
Yes, since that time, that's correct. Since that time, have you brought in a landscaping plan?
Yes,
Okay, I don't have it.
Do you have a copy of it with you?
I do not, but that was the whole
Nor you don't
reason-
have anything.
No,
That was the
the
whole
file
reason
does
it's
not
back
have a
on the
landscape
agenda,
plan.
because we submitted the landscape plan, and then
Okay.
that was what we were
If you have
asked.
a
That's
landscape
what we were
plan,
asked to do. So we
Could you
submitted-
please have it brought in by next Thursday
Sure.
so we can review it?
But,
And we'll-
right, I mean, yes, we should have a landscape plan, but I don't think that solves the issue.
It doesn't solve
I
it.
mean, as Betsy points out,
Twice.
right, that,
But-
right, this is a solid wall, right? Is there any, and, right, having the landscaping when, on the side, in the green space, doesn't solve the problem of having a solid wall. Is there any way to ameliorate the solid impact of this gate? I'd like to see.
No,
that.
no.
Because of the frame?
And because of the framework, and the answer is no. And this is water under the bridge. We discussed all this at the first time we were here, and the board said, okay, so
No, we never said okay.
No,
In fact, to
no, no.
refresh your memory on this, we never liked it from the get-go.
I know you didn't, but then why did we lead this client to spend $5,000 or $6,000?
We asked you, we
Okay.
asked you to do a landscape plan. I haven't seen the plan. Bring the plan in, let's take a look at it, let's see where it's going to go from there. If there's a plan that exists, we'd like to see it. With what's existing right now, without a plan, it's not going to cut it. So if you've got a plan, bring it in by next Thursday so we can put you on the next agenda, and we're happy to do it.
Oh, okay. All right.
You can deny it, you can deny it.
From the back.
You want to continue the motion to deny it now? I
Yeah.
have no problem whatsoever.
Well, the point being is that they never came to us in the beginning to say, can we get approval for this
Absolutely
gate
correct.
at 6.5 feet
Correct.
tall?
So deny it.
So I would like to make a motion to deny
We have a
the
second?
application.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion denied. Michael, bring your plan in, you're going to have to resubmit.
But that wouldn't show if we just had the area that it opens into the road. We took out flats there.
So Michael, if you want to put in a new application, this
Yeah, but
one has
it's
been denied.
Double-sided
Can we,
The next
plywood in
one?
the middle.
can we finish this up, please?
No.
Thank you. Thanks, Frank. to Robin Rappaport. This has been postponed for Elizabeth Dow, tax map number 300-90-2-1.10, 27 Powder Hill Lane in East Hampton. Thank you very much. Just introduce yourself if you would.
Elizabeth Dow.
Thank you very much. Ed Krug.
Okay, so I've actually gotten some clarity on this situation from our town attorney. This is an application for the approval of, as it states on the written application, for painted wooden posts on a deer fence. This is an existing, there's other work being done on the property that's in front of the building department. The building department flagged an existing deer fence because of the wooden posts that it's constructed.
Because it doesn't fit
Right.
in the exception that wouldn't meet ARB.
Where's
So
the
the whole
property?
fence
This is on
needs to
Powder
be-
Hill in the northwest off Mile Hill Road.
So
it's
just to
up in
be
the
clear,
northwest.
the application is being interpreted by the board for approval of not just the post, but the fence as well. Because you need approval of the whole structure.
I understand.
You would have been in compliance with the deer fence and not
The exception.
with the exception, right. You wouldn't have needed to come before us for this if it was fully within code, which is the metal posts. So basically, as a result of that, we have to approve it. This is a very long flag lot. It's very woodsy. It's in the deepest part of the northwest woods. It's completely invisible from anywhere. It is probably about 50%. It's on one property line. There's no reason to make any further comments about it. The wooden posts are painted gray.
The height of the,
7'6".
Ed, can I get clarification of this fence and gate, correct?
Oh, well, yes, I guess we need to include the gate as well.
Yes, it's for, well, we would need fence, yeah, the entire structure. So if there's a gate on there as well. Are you asking for approval for the gate?
If I need it, I'm asking for it.
I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I want to make
Well, no, the
make
application
it-
would need to be altered.
Thank you.
The application doesn't refer to, it just refers to the posts.
where's the gate?
I'm just going to have you
Gate's
write
right
on your
here.
application and sign it and date it for me that you want the gate as well.
It's not a driveway gate.
And where should I write it? Right here? Right here? Oh, it
And
says
gate. Can you describe the gate? What is the material?
Mahogany.
Okay, put that in. Painted?
Actually, I thought I
Plain?
put that in there, I'm sorry.
Is this it?
No.
May I ask just one question?
Yes.
With regards to the wooden posts for the deer fencing, are we saying that they go away and the metal posts?
No.
Or are we approving the wood posts?
Approving the wood posts.
Betsy,
Because-
just to clarify, if she had, on the fencing, if she had had metal posts, it would have fit in the exception.
Correct.
She would have only needed to be here for the gate.
Right.
But since
So the fence is.
there was some confusion because when building came out and said,
Elizabeth, use the
you need to
word
go to ARB, they said it was because the posts, so she thought she only needed to apply for the posts.
Here.
So we're trying to clarify why it
Yeah,
needed
that's
to be
way
on.
down, all the way down.
Right. This
Black
is
lot itself.
Yeah,
forever.
yeah. I thought, it looked initially to me like a driveway.
Yeah,
gate,
no, not.
But it's not.
It's an access gate for.
It's an access gate.
To service the pool and that kind of thing,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
I thought it was against code.
Make a motion.
If this is what you like, just let me know because I want to stamp the picture for the gate.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody make a motion.
All right, so I make a motion that we approve this application for 7-foot 6-inch deer fencing with wooden posts and a 5-foot 6-inch gate,
Unpainted mahogany.
unpainted mahogany.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Can I see the picture, Ed? Thank you.
I might need my hand stamped.
We've done that.
Yeah, right.
Britain's in a hurry to get this over with, so let's get a change to commercial. Okay, Hampton Racquetball Green Hollow Tennis, tax map number 300-184-3-11, at 172 Buckskill. Okay, all right. Move it around here somewhere. Well, wherever it is, it doesn't matter what it is.
Show me the layout, the survey.
Yeah, just read it. Give me for the application. Just read it again. Got it. Doesn't tell me anything. Next page. Yeah. Okay, rooftop, nope. Wrong one.
What
Want me
did
to
you
read
read it to us?
Want me to read it to you?
Be my guest.
The project entails site plan approval to legalize existing tennis court, remove a tennis court, legalize storage shed, reorganize parking and access to the property, add a handicapped accessible ramp to the clubhouse, as well as legalizing the special permit use of a tennis camp and 2 awnings.
Okay, I've been out there, I've inspected. The only thing that I had a question on that I asked you about was the trailer that's there. Is that staying?
No,
That's going?
it should be gone.
I really have no questions on this. I don't know what the paperwork is. Is there anything else that we should know over and above what I've actually read and seen and taken pictures of?
No, it's a long road. We submitted for site plan approval in 2014,
Yeah,
and this is
we've
just a
been working on
cleanup.
this forever.
Yeah, I've been in front of this, not this particular board, but I've been in front of this in the review process throughout the way. So this is just the
I've seen
final
it
ask
over
for a
and over and
resolution.
over. Okay. I'm done with this. I'd like to make a motion to approve it. I need a second.
I'd like to see what we're,
Yeah.
If I had my pictures here, Peter, I would give them to you.
pictures. What are we approving here?
Okay.
Well, there's no structures involved other than storage sheds. So it's hard to,
Yeah. At least
Right.
open-
It's existing. I've been working on this for 3 years. I know every step that they've gone along the way, and I don't know where the paperwork is.
so this is a tennis club. This is. Sorry, I skipped one. This is Buckskill Road, this is Green Hollow Road.
Right.
It's this is the Long Island Railroad.
What are we approving?
We are removing a tennis court that exists right here and making a secondary access route. Getting retroactive approval for a tennis court that already exists. Approval for a couple storage sheds for rackets,
Which exists.
which exist, and 2 awnings, which exist on the garage.
And the awnings are already there. There's another awning, too, that goes up, that these 2 are permanently installed.
Right, there's no changes to the clubhouse, and it's just a sort of working of our parking and revegetation.
So this is the tennis court here that's being removed.
Correct.
Is it now removed?
No, that's not done.
Has not been done yet.
Right, the green is showing what has not been done.
And you said this new tennis court as well?
Yeah, my client bought this property without a CO, for which I think he wants to kick himself for the last 5 years straight, at which time this tennis court was constructed.
Okay.
So there's a code provision that allows a certain amount of tennis courts per acre, and we were 1 over.
I see.
So the idea was to remove this one, because this is sort of the nucleus, the heart of the club is here, so remove one out here and keep this one here.
So do we have a survey showing that removed?
Actually,
I can't remove it yet until I get site plan
right,
approval.
we need the site plan first. So
It's a hybrid application where half of the work was done.
What we're actually approving is the original plans that were brought into us with the site plan, which provides for all this information. So we have the information. You need to be able to come back to us once you have this, so that we actually have your new site plan and can review it at that time, too.
Isn't
I don't
this
think
it?
that's the case.
No, this is not the final case. That's why we can approve this as it is, because they're going to come back with either parking over there, or you're going to just leave it for the lawn. What are you doing over there?
It's showing it removed.
I have parking on top of the tennis
Right.
court.
Britton, I think the confusion is
Okay.
your application is what you put in the site plan.
We're through site,
Right. No,
we're
I-
done. We have site plan resolution.
Right, but when you recited what the application was for, it talked about getting a special permit. Obviously, that's not under the jurisdiction of
Right.
the board. So the structures that are under the jurisdiction of the board, I mean, it's a change to commercial, which would be the appearance of the commercial site, and obviously any sheds being moved, that type of thing. So those things come under ARB approval. Can you go through that again, and we can talk about what specific items this board has to give you approval on, and that way maybe we can check those off, and if you're proposing other things, they may not need ARB approval, and then we'll know you won't necessarily need to come.
Okay.
Does that make any sense, or did I confuse you more?
Read from right to left.
Okay.
or left to right, whatever you prefer.
Starting
have
at the,
flow.
starting at the left side, we are removing a tennis court and creating an employee parking area with an improved access road. The access road exists, but it's not necessarily improved.
And I don't believe that that comes under a change of commercial that we need to deal with, because that's all at grade.
Revegetation is not,
We're not looking at, okay. The new tennis court,
it's at grade as well. New tennis court?
Tennis courts, theoretically, yes, we do, strangely enough, building permits for tennis
Okay.
courts and.
So a new tennis court that exists, 2 awnings.
was the application made for the awnings originally, or,
No, it was made by amendment
okay.
because they're not subject to site plan approval. So I
Correct.
wanted to mirror my
Got
ARB
it.
and my site plan, and then I
Perfectly
realized
fine.
that I needed
Yeah,
ARB for the
sometimes-
awnings
That's why I'm
independent.
having you do
And I
this.
didn't want to have 2 applications.
Not a problem.
Shed
Exists.
exists, and that's it. It's not.
Okay, there's no change in any paint colors, there's no change in roofing, there's no change in any kind of.
No touching the structure.
There's no lighting change, nothing.
No lighting on the property at all.
Okay. And the board has in the file what the shed looks like?
And pictures also.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. So is the board comfortable that they have enough information?
Must be in the car.
Can we make it subject to a survey showing the tennis court removed?
Well, the C of
My
O would
CO
have
would
to
be
have, the
contingent
C
on
of
that.
O could be
Yeah.
contingent
Yeah.
on that. yeah.
Sure.
Or,
Sure.
okay.
Anything else that you'd like?
Do any of the board members need to see those photos before they, or pictures or
No.
anything else? Okay, all right.
Any other questions on this?
No.
Nora, you have the items that they're approving?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody happy with it?
Making a motion?
I made the motion, I need a second.
Could you make the motion again, please?
As stated on the record that Britton has supplied, we have reviewed the site plan, and we agree with the changes that have been made, and we will see a new site plan presented to us once this is
I
complete.
think you should enumerate the changes.
We are,
Actually,
she's
I
got it
just-
all down. She has it all
Just
down.
for clarification, and Nora, please note this, I just pulled up the code here. You do not need ARB approval for parking lots, roads or
Right.
driveways, tennis courts.
I didn't think so.
So, as long as they're at natural grade clearing or grading of land. So none of those items would be, so I believe that just leaves us the awnings and sheds?
And sheds.
Right, the awnings and the sheds, and the awnings exist and the sheds exist.
Right, but they existed and you guys have looked at them and
I have looked at them.
And just to
those
be
would be
clear,
the only items ARB needs to give
Not
approval on.
particularly.
You don't like them?
Well, it's not a question of liking them, they exist.
So the motion is to approve pre-existing awnings
Awnings and
and 2 sheds?
2 structures. 2 awnings, 2 structures. Is that correct? So that we have, there's no other language that you need or want in that.
Well, don't
This-
we need to enumerate again the tennis court that's being removed?
No, because tennis courts aren't under
We're not
our,
involved with the
Not
tennis
our
court,
purview.
not our thing.
nor is it with the parking. And that's, the parking is going where the tennis courts were. Anything else? Ed? Get it?
No.
We have a second?
Second?
All in favor? Aye.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening.
Okay, for Richard Shilowich, Land Planning Services, tax map number 300-197-1-37-1. This is 26 Ardsley Road. You could introduce yourself, please.
Good evening, Alicia Osborne from Land Planning Services.
Okay. This is a project that we have worked on before, back in 2015. The board had approved the construction of a 2,400 square foot, one-story building with a basement for storage and 2 service commercial uses as per the Saskis survey. We're looking now for the colors. Have you brought swatches with you?
What was the building?
It doesn't exist. It's being built on Ardsley, behind where the swamp was,
Behind that area.
directly behind it.
We've seen this.
Again, here, I'd like to take a look at some pictures. This will give you a view. That shot is from Montauk Highway,
And the building is going to be,
one story, 2,400 square feet.
Have we seen this before?
We discussed it 2 years ago when they first brought it to us. It's an unusual project because this is basically on a flagged lot on Ardsley itself. And this part of Ardsley is unfinished, and it's residential on the north side. And there is a lot that is in between the Star Room and where this building is.
and what's the building going to be?
It's 2 commercial uses with a basement. Do you know what it's going to be used as? Do you know what the commercial use, has it been
don't.
last? Okay, so I don't have an answer to that.
So it's being done as
It's a
a
commercial use.
speculative rental building.
I think Rich is going to use it himself, actually.
These are the color swatches submitted?
Okay, can we have some identity on these? Okay, 2 color swatches for the proposed color samples.
May I just ask one more question, please?
Yeah, I want this one answered first. Okay, and then it's all yours. Which colors?
No, it's not these, it's the Sharp Bowl buildings.
Okay, I don't, okay. These
These
are
are
the
the
colors
old ones.
that we have here.
Those are, I'm sorry,
Okay.
that was what was approved.
Fine.
And
Okay, this is the sidewall. Roof.
It's just
That's
a
it.
duplicate.
Yeah, just a,
So it's a metal sided
Yes.
building?
yeah.
So-
And based on the way I'm looking at this like flag lot and behind the building here, you don't see this from any of the roadways, is that correct?
Well, you won't when, well, that's an interesting question. Yes, you probably will at the end, depending upon what they do with the swamp.
Right.
So, yes, you
You
will be
might
seeing
see
it.
it. And it's a one-story
Yeah.
building, metal.
It's a one-story building with a basement.
Any
it's a-
windows and things like that? Do you have like a drawing of the building? Just, for me, on a personal level, I would like to know what I'm approving,
One elevation. Okay, so your west is, if you looked at Home Goods, to the left of Home Goods, this will be on the west. This is what you're going to see from the west itself.
So it almost has like a barn type
Basically.
shape to it.
And it's got 4 bays on it, which is on the east. So the east will be showing toward Montauk Highway unless it's planted, depending upon what happens with the property that's in front of it.
Lighting?
Can you give us any more identification as to what the final structure is going to look like as far as landscaping, lighting,
you guys
the
already-
visual effect that we have from Montauk Highway rather than the Ardsley viewpoint, because things have changed since you originally came here. Originally, we had been considering
What, Peter?
car wash.
Enormous.
How many square feet is it?
2,600.
24.
No, height.
32 feet.
It's 2,400 square feet. You previously, in your 2015 resolution, you approved the landscaping and lighting plan. So the only thing that he's asking to have changed, because he does now have a building permit 3 years into the process or so, are the colors of the roof and the walls. And it's not
So the
even-
building has all been approved?
2 years ago. That was done 2
But
years
then
ago.
we went through planning and health department and building permit. So we do have a building permit, and he's now at the point where he's ready to build, and he felt that he was going to have to live with this building for a long time, and rethought the colors. And so the change is just from a taupe color to white for the walls, and from light bronze to charcoal for the roof.
So originally it was taupe with,
Taupe sand
right?
for the walls, and light bronze for the roof.
Okay, so it was more in the brown family, now it's more in a cooler tone. I have no problem with the colors.
Neither do I.
I just didn't know what we were thinking because I wasn't here 3 years ago.
I don't remember it being a 32-foot building. to be
No,
honest with you.
funny enough, I neither do I.
I really don't remember that, but it is.
Change of color to exterior metal wall. So this is current.
How high is usually a two-story building?
Two-story building, if you assume floor to floor, 10 feet, right, 20, right? I mean, this is like a three-story building.
Do we have the original application for this?
Is there any height
For
restrictions?
modification?
There's just the pyramid law, and that would be by building department.
Which doesn't,
Well, building part, regardless if you got ARB approval for it, they wouldn't be able to get a building permit for a building that is greater than the pyramid, that violates the pyramid law. So that's where that's,
and what's the pyramid law?
pyramid law requires that the
From the property line.
property line, yes. So the height of any point of the building or structure is not greater than the horizontal distance of the point from an imaginary vertical line drawn upwards from the nearest property line to the building at that location.
I tell you, I have a problem with those colors for a building that's that big.
Well, what colors would be appropriate for a building that big?
I mean, it's set off in the woods, you know. I'd like to see it not quite as
White?
not quite as white. I mean, this is going to stand out.
Like a nice soft gray.
All right, beige, gray. You know, when
Well, they're
you have-
originally a taupe sand.
Yeah. I mean, why do they feel they want
Wanna
to change it?
I guess it would be the owner's personal preference,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, my personal opinion is I wouldn't do it in those colors.
Is it of a great enough concern that it's not consistent with the rural or agricultural nature of the town such that ARB may not approve the color? Or is it just a recommendation that you would find a different color more pleasing to you? Because one just pleasing probably is not enough for this board to think otherwise, but if those colors are not consistent, you feel are not consistent with the character of the town, then the ARB can ask for a different color scheme.
Forgetting about the mass, what's your objection to the colors?
My objection to the color is that I don't think it's in keeping with the character of that particular neighborhood, which is wooded. I'm afraid that that will stand out very brightly and very strongly, both in the wintertime, unless we have this substantial snowstorm, or in the summertime.
Okay.
Well, its most visible neighbors are the home goods store, basically, right?
And that's a white building.
And whatever's going to become of the Star Room site, which I believe is nothing, right?
Correct.
Park-like.
Yeah.
And across the street from this structure are two small residences, maybe 12 to 1,500 square foot, one-story residences. It's a residential street.
The home goods store is shingled, right?
Right.
Yes.
And it's gray.
But
I would be
if this is a
concerned
metal
about-
prefab,
I would be concerned about this dark bronze, which is what they originally had for the roof. I think it's too dark.
I agree.
The green, I think, is a little bit more acceptable. And to me, what color is this called, the siding? The other one.
Yeah, this one is the roof, this is
Bone white.
bone white and charcoal.
I don't see a bone white on this.
That's a different company.
That's a different.
Okay. Anyway, that to me doesn't read white, the bone
No,
white.
it doesn't. It reads gray.
Yeah, it's neutral.
I don't have a
I
problem
don't
with it.
either.
We have two
Because I
no
don't know,
problems,
I
one
don't.
problem.
Make a motion?
That's the only thing that we have to consider on this.
Yeah.
So I will make a motion that the colors that have been presented, the charcoal for the roof and the bone white for the sidewalls be approved. We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Is that charcoal? Where is that?
No.
No?
No.
No. Okay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh.
Let's put it all together.
Don't get mad.
Get it.
All together.
Yeah, no, I'm looking for the
To
big
left.
clip.
Tom Britton's.
Oh, you found it? Oh, great. Thank you.
I'll stick that into it.
Peter, those are the two awnings that were on the other two structures. Yeah. Just for the record, so that you know that these pictures do exist. I had taken them myself.
Okay,
Okay,
gotcha.
those are the awnings that are on the two
So
appurtenant
they
structures.
retract.
They retract. Questions? I was stuck underneath the Shilovich file. Sorry about that. 478 Westlake LLC, care of Tom Abraham, tax map number 300-6-3-6, 478 Westlake Drive.
This is going to be a presentation.
Yep. Got it.
Is this last but not least?
No.
No?
Oh, we can keep you here longer if you'd like to stay.
You're welcome to join us.
Let me tell you, this is the most outstanding building that I've been in a long time. It's really fantastic.
Introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, sure. Matthew Korn and Jack Priolo. You want our cards? Mike?
Sure, I'd love the card. It's great.
If you're looking to do an addition on your house.
Great. Betsy.
Just one more second.
And I'm sorry, Jack, what was your last name?
Priolo, Priolo.
Thank you.
I'll put these with the file.
Correct.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, we're with Harrison Design out of Roslyn.
Great.
I think you...
We need to read it into the record, and then it's all
This is an
yours.
application for 478 Westlake Drive in Montauk for a upgrade to the exterior building with regards to material changes, siding, exterior trim, new storefronts, roofing, lighting, and landscaping. This is an existing three-building lot, right? This is, we all know this is Ben and Jerry's, it's across from the dock.
Oh,
All right, so that's what's there now.
right.
Okay, and this is, I'll have you do the presentation, but I just want to show what they're planning to do. And we can work through all the different materials,
Okay.
okay? And you're changing the name to the Wharf at Montauk?
Yes.
Okay.
It's interesting, you know, whenever I describe this project, I just say Ben and Jerry's, everyone says, yeah, I know it very well.
And I think this is the back side, this is the rear elevation.
Yes, that's from the water side.
Let's hear what you have to say.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a collection, a grouping of buildings that's established. It's in a prime corner, let's say, of across from the water, and the property itself is actually on the water. It has docks and it has commercial fishing in the back. Yeah, it's really quite outstanding. So what we were trying to do from an iconic standpoint was try to make these buildings seem like they were there for a while and give them a nautical flavor without being overtly nautical. We also wanted to put material on the building that was long-lasting, that could withstand the salt water. The building itself was, I think, done in the 90s. It has decent finishes, but really are not architecturally delineated. And what we were trying to do was bring it to a point where it really has more of a iconic look that people could remember when they pass it. The idea is renaming it the Wharf, giving it that feel, and starting from the roof and working down, I think would be nice. A raised metal seam roof that also is a lot. There's a lot of seagulls that are there. So there's a lot of seagull droppings on the roof right now, and we wanted to do a roof that was be able to be power washed or cleaned, and that would last. So this is actually a high-grade aluminum roof. It has a Kynar finish. It's made by a company called ATAS, A-T-A-S. Sorry about that. There you go.
Put it down there, it'll come around.
So it's a standing seam roof?
That's correct.
And is it lead, or is it, what type
Aluminum.
of?
Aluminum.
Okay.
With a Kynar finish. Where's that big book of... and I think you're familiar with this product. It's Hardy Plank.
Yeah,
How
sure.
long would something last?
So, yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't lead coated. That
No.
was my question.
This is probably, they'll tell you the last 25 years, but,
That product?
yeah,
25 years?
won't. Because it's aluminum, it's not, and there's a higher grade version of,
Well, there's a zinc that we were looking into.
well, there's something called Galvalume,
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
right?
Yes.
Which is much stronger, much more durable.
If we can get that color in Galvalume, I think the owner would do that.
I'd look into it,
Okay.
because that, I mean, just feel the weight
Gauge.
of that,
Oh,
the
gauge.
gauge of that
Gauge.
is.
I think
And
the essence...
you're dealing with, right, salt water, because you're
Yeah.
on the water.
Excuse me for a second, let me get my...
Well, it's half marine, it's half fresh, if I'm not mistaken.
We just did a, I just want to show you, we just did a house that has a very similar, I'm sorry to show it to you, it has a very similar roof. Just to give you a flavor of what it looks like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the same color,
Yeah. Yes.
Nancy?
Yeah, same siding.
It's a little tough to see because I'm sure the color on the phone is not quite accurate.
Right, yes. And then the siding will be a hardy plank, but there's a new product out that they have. It's called the Artisan Hardy Plank. So this is your standard hardy plank, which is on the thin side. And the new Artisan Hardy Plank, which is an option, you could buy either or, has a thicker profile so that the shadow line on this product is very similar to a real cedar clapboard. And then all the trim on the building would be AZAC. You have corner boards, freeze boards, and...
So, I'm
AZAC.
sorry, so the walls, the exterior walls are going to be a shingle?
The clapboard.
A clapper, a white clapper.
Okay.
My only comment on the project is that it looks like a light bulb.
I have a couple comments, but I don't know if we're there yet.
I think if we start to take a look at the actual design, which, Peter, you're far more able to interpret.
Before we go into that, can I just set up a little local flavor there? Okay, so
Be my guest.
you're talking about the docks, okay,
Right.
the fishing docks, and you're talking about the dock restaurant. And right behind that is Gossman's compound. And the buildings are somewhat similar in flavor to these. However, there's a lot of bells and whistles on this, which concern me, all the cupolas, maybe the massive amounts of the metal roof, that it's going to take away from...
It's a bit over-designed
for that...
the local market.
For the flavor of the dock area.
Right. Right.
It's a little too, it looks to me like a what would you call it, like a outlet.
Right, it just doesn't belong there.
You know, like a retail store outlet somewhere in upstate or whatever. It just doesn't.
The complex that's at the end is a white complex that has a blue roof.
And 11.
No, let me just clarify one thing, what I don't think you're getting. The awnings are not raised metal. Those are awnings, those are
This is
canvas
just awning.
canvas awnings.
That's
No,
a distraction. That's not.
I wasn't even talking about the awnings. I was talking about the massive amount of roofing, metal roofing that's going to be visible on these buildings.
Also, let me clarify another thing, that rendering is a rendering like as if you're hovering over above, so that when you perceive it from the ground, you would see, if you look at the photographs, you would see that the roof is not perceived as much as the renderings are.
From street level.
Yeah, from street level.
Yeah, no, I take Betsy's point as well, though. I think maybe you're misunderstanding her comments. Let me pick a set of mine, which I think are in line with yours. It feels to me a little over-designed for this. It's lovely, but I think it's over-designed for this particular location. It's just a working dock. It's got a different kind of feeling.
Yes.
It's much more...
George is going to freak.
You know, Montauk is a different kind of place. I mean, this feels appropriate for Manhasset or someplace suburban up Island, but I think there's just one too many bells and whistles, cupolas, dormers, windows.
Well, let me just clarify a few things. First of all, if you guys aren't really into the cupolas, I don't think they would mind losing them. But that's not an issue.
I'm not into all the light that it's going to emit. That's where I started, right from the get-go.
Those are dummy cupolas. They're not.
Okay.
They're not.
No, I'm not
translucent.
talking about the cupola. I'm talking about there are just so many windows emitting light into that area. It's just not necessary.
Well, then what you're not doing is you're not looking at the existing conditions, the same windows.
I'm looking at the existing that you've done here. Can I have that again? Okay.
Compared to what it is existing.
Correct.
Right. There's a lot of,
Well,
there's a lot
let's-
of doors, there's a lot of
Let's
windows.
let's just look at elevation by elevation, because I'm listening to your criticism and I want to respond to it. So let's look at the rear elevation. You would see that we have a round window in the gable that's existing. The round windows are the same.
Cool.
Okay? You see that these big windows are all back here? The same windows, we're just putting new grills on them. The same doors are on the bottom are the same doors that are shown. I mean, this is exactly the same elevation, except the only thing we did, we took off an ugly railing and standard post, and we just wrapped them in AZAC with a little trim and did a much more historically correct railing. So if you like to lose the dormers, which we have no problem, if you like to lose the cupolas, which we have no problem, we could definitely acquiesce to that. I'm sure the
Well, what you're showing here is the rear elevation.
That's correct.
Okay? I'm looking at the buildings from Westlake Drive.
Okay.
They don't have all that light coming through. There's not a whole bunch of doors and windows and big shop windows.
Right, so let's discuss that. So let's go elevation.
You know,
by
because
elevation.
the reality is that you don't see that unless you're in the back, or unless you're on the water,
let's just
which is
discuss-
also an issue too.
Right. So this facade over here, you have to understand this is a commercial setting. It has to attract shop owners. It has to identify itself to the people that are coming to the wharf. And the idea of actually taking some of these storefronts and making them more available to the parking area, making them more available to see people seeing what's there, is not something that's out of ordinary. Now,
We don't argue with any of that. We like that very much. No problem. I think that Ed Krug has posed it as well as Betsy has. It is over-designed for that location. All your theory, we appreciate, understand, and agree with. This is not going to fly. So we're not going to give you suggestions on what to do, but we can tell you to take a hard look at Montauk and see that this does not belong in Montauk. So you need to come up with toning this down, whether you're removing the cupolas, whether you're removing some of the extra materials that are here to make this more Montauk. I think
For
you have
that,
to
for the
look at-
dock area.
Right. You have to look at that community and understand that community. This is not that community.
well, you know, I respect what you're saying. I'm not going to argue with it because I think it's valid comment. But when we come to a meeting like this, we do many I sit on boards, we do many meetings like this. Your criticism can be constructive, so it would enable us to come back.
We're not here to design the project for you. We're here basically from an aesthetic standpoint to explain to you what our feeling is for the location of that building, and it's not working for us.
I hear you, but when we talk about elevation to elevation, I'm not trying to repeat myself, but I'm saying the fenestration is almost exact. So really what it comes down to, as I understand it, could be the siding, question mark, the roofing, question mark, and the cupolas.
No, but it's the amount of windows on the front facing Westlake Drive. You've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, plus the big, storefront, the 2 double doors, all this is going.
Okay.
It's just
See,
way overdone.
That's valid comment.
Yeah.
What happens on the second floor? Is that retail space also?
Yes. The idea was to possibly make it residential, but that's not happening. There's a sanitary septic system.
Sanitary and
Yeah.
probably a parking problem.
I'm not suggesting that it mirrors the Gossman's buildings, but they're more toned down, they're more in keeping with the area, even though they do draw shoppers. So you might want to just sort of think
No,
about.
your comments were decent. I mean, I understand what you're
We
saying.
really appreciate what you're trying to do. That's the first thing.
I mean, it's a beautiful drawing.
Mr. Artist over here.
It's beautiful, but I just don't think
Well,
it,
there are buildings that
like I
are
said,
white.
it just looks like a
If you look across
retail
the water
outlet
at the
setting.
Coast Guard station, that's a white.
Yeah,
Well, the
and the
red
white,
roof.
and the white's fine, that's
and
fine.
a red roof.
It's,
And there's like I said, the buildings down at the other end or have a blue roof. I mean, so we thought this was kind of understated compared to the others.
It's not
no,
about the roof.
the white and the roof, I'm actually fine with. I think it really is
So you're
things
talking
like
about-
lattice work with the cutout.
I think it's the detail.
It's the details.
It's the detailing,
The amount of windows.
right, and the trim around these.
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah, if this were somewhere else, it would be, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful.
The detailing on the railing
Make it
is
more quiet.
colonial.
Make it more, talk more quiet.
Yeah, and
You're listening, that's good.
Less busy.
and I personally don't mind the dormers on it, which will break up the roof. I'm not sure the cupolas are necessary.
Necessary.
They might be
Right.
redundant.
And
One thing-
the other
sorry.
thing is, if this is going to be retail space, you're not going to have any wall space on the
They want people to look in.
but you can't look in front. I could see on the storefronts, but on that second floor in the back and on the front, I don't think you need all those.
So you mean
windows.
wall space for the interior of the...
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
I mean, where would you,
You're right.
I mean, so.
The ice cream place, Ben and Jerry's, that everyone loves. The one thing that we did there
Well,
was...
it's not all that much different,
Well, we did add...
No, we really didn't.
other than
We
the,
went to ode to a lighthouse kind of look here, and the idea was that it would be possibly lit at night with a low LED bulb, and the idea of coming down the road and having some sort of iconic image that says, the wharf.
I would tell you that that's not going to fly. Tone it down. Save your
How
clients
about a big
a lot
ice
of
cream?
money.
How about a big ice cream
Ice
cone on
cream
top?
cup,
There, now
Like
you're
a
talking.
strawberry.
not a
you know,
problem.
Strawberry ice cream.
We got an ice cream.
Dripping on the roof. Okay.
You've done some nice work. We appreciate it. I think you understand the board's feeling.
Definitely.
And we look forward to using the process.
I look forward to coming back. Thanks again.
Thank you.
do you want to take
Do you
these?
want to make a comment about the materials and the colors?
Not at this point, no.
Okay.
You?
I mean, I think your approach of having, durable materials is justifiable, and I think that that's the metal roof and this is fine. We can discuss colors later.
Okay.
Great.
Fair enough.
I agree with you.
As far as our presentation, would you like to see another form of presentation? Would you like to see a larger scale? Is our presentation?
No, your presentation's great. I mean, it's beautifully done, matter of fact. We appreciate it.
Another question we have for you. At this point, we're not able to discuss landscape or lighting or anything like that because the owner
Not
hasn't...
until,
really-
I don't think until the building's,
Right. Is that something that we can always come back?
You can come back.
Okay.
Much of the lighting will go under planning. We'll do some of the lighting.
Okay, that's great. So we're going to focus on the exterior, and then we can come back for landscape, lighting, and signage?
Yes.
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much.
Nancy Lynn, just a curiosity, this is on Lake Montauk regarding lighting. It's not an agricultural overlay, but at the same time, how would that be considered for the amount of light that is emitted from the building?
That would be whether or not it comes under code, and that's planning. The only thing that this board can look at is what the fixtures look like and if they are
Correct.
appropriate.
Right. Thank you
And the
very
type of lighting and where its focus is would be planned.
Good. Thank you.
When does planning kick in for something like this? Would planning kick in?
When did you put in your site plan approval?
There was no site plan approval.
If you,
Because it's an existing building, it was just for, facades. We're not
But
changing
no,
the
but
site
there's a
plan.
lot of changes. The windows, the doors are changing.
if there's a question on the lighting, if the building department can look at it, and if they can tell just from looking at it that it's night sky compliant and comes under our code, they can approve it without the need for it to go to site
Okay,
plan.
I'll talk to them then.
Yeah,
Question,
and
do we have a
just-
survey on this also?
You just know that if you change the use so that there's a greater occupancy,
Okay.
you will need to go to site plan, so.
No change
okay.
of use, same change of use.
Same retail.
So if you did that, you would have to go to.
Yeah, anytime you do any kind of change that requires
Yeah.
that increases occupancy, use occupancy, changing, a takeout deli to a sit-down restaurant,
Right.
then you have to go to site plan because they have to review
Thanks.
parking and the like.
You need an extra scale. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll remember you forever.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much.
Sure, thank you. For an extension of time for Alfonso and Mary Giaquinto, tax map number 300-184-1-4.1. Do we need anybody here for an extension of time?
You don't need people here. The question will be that they're putting in for an extension of time, and so long, these are ones where the application has lapsed, and
Correct.
and most of these, they got approval, and they're looking to extend it so they have time to comply with the approval and not have to come for a new approval. So as long as we understand time has passed because it's 3 years is how long it's good for, so we know it's going to be more than 3 years. But if it's,
Well, this goes back to 2007. That's why I'm asking this. I mean, all this material is irrelevant today. I mean, this is 10 years ago.
Well-
They're asking for an extension of time.
they're asking for an extension of time in order to do what they originally were approved for.
Correct.
And it's up to the board whether or not to approve that extension of time.
Okay.
And I
on
guess
top of
depending
that,
on the project, that is the board's choice whether or not.
part of it was that they had to take down the fence from the scenic easement, too, which I don't know if it's been done.
Well, they're just asking for time in order to come into compliance with that, not that they're saying they're ready.
Okay, I don't have a problem issuing an extension of time on this. It goes back 10 years. If they're going to resolve this and they want to continue to work on it, how long is the extension
They're
time
actually,
for?
they're on for a C of O.
The extension.
The extension of time on this. So you certainly can approve the extension of time and then consider the issue, but maybe on these,
Right.
it'd be best to do both at the same time. And it sounds like you have no issue with extending the time, but you do have a issue that they have yet to get it into compliance with the approval.
That is
And as
exactly
such,
correct.
they're not ready for a C of O.
Okay, so I do recommend and would make a motion for an extension of time. Do we have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And their request for a certificate of occupancy under tax map number 300-184-1-4.1, I would deny at this time until we have proof that it's been brought into compliance. We need a second on that?
Second.
Can you tell
All
me
in
for
favor? Sorry?
We need to direct them.
I need to direct them in a letter as to why they're not in compliance.
They're not in compliance because I have no proof over the last 10 years that the work has been completed and that the fence that was on the scenic easement has been removed.
Has there been so this is not one where we've had a inspection of the property?
No, not at all.
Okay, so is it one that the board you'd be able to determine that with an inspection?
I believe so.
Okay, then let's just, instead of, it's not ready for a C of O because it needs an inspection.
Correct.
So just
That's
put it
even
on
better
for the
language.
next agenda so that there's time for the property to be inspected.
Great.
Thank you.
Would they have to submit a new application with that?
No,
No.
their approval has been extended by the board this evening.
Okay.
And what they simply will, one of our board members, whoever's assigned, will need to go out there and see if it is in compliance. If it is not, then when they come back in, the board can then
Okay, but I
decide
have
whether or
a,
not it's ready for a C of O or not.
I have a further problem because the survey is dated 2005, the request was 2007. The survey would need to be updated before you could actually issue a certificate of occupancy.
So why don't we give them, Nora, a letter saying that the board is going to require that in order to issue the C of O, it would behoove them to start working on that while the board also goes out and does the inspection.
Thank you.
Why wasn't it expected? Because of the
There's no application.
And Nora, perhaps let them know that once they have that
It's just a simple
survey,
request for
to notify you and you'll put it back on for a C of O at that point, so that we don't waste their time of having them on a C of O and we don't have a survey yet.
Thank you.
Yep. And Chair, it's up to you whether or not you want to wait for the survey before the inspection.
Okay?
The next one is also on for an extension of time and a C of O.
Yeah, exactly. And this is slightly different,
Okay, let me
maybe
just read
slightly
into the
more
record and it's
complicated.
all yours.
Go ahead.
For Suzanne Morehouse, care of Dayton, Balsam, and Voorhees, tax map number 300-118-1-59, 433 Hans Creek Road in East Hampton, Edward.
All right, so this was an approval from 15 years ago, from March of 2003. This board approved a 7-foot, 6-inch deer fence. The documentation on the approval is, and the resolution is quite flimsy. It really basically just says, it's approved, conditioned on the fence being set back a minimum of 20 feet from the southeast property line, and there is a survey from 2000 that apparently shows where the fence was meant to be installed, hand-drawn, right? So we don't have...
This one, like the other one, we need a survey?
So we definitely need an updated survey. However, there are a couple of things that we need to consider. One is that there is a gate being constructed at this very moment. There's no gate referred to in this, so we would certainly need to have a separate application for the gate, right? The fence is 8 feet, not 7 feet, 6 inches. So Nancy Lynn, if I understood your previous comment for the previous application correctly, we have an opportunity to either say we're extending the approval that was granted in 2003 or
Yes,
not.
you have two, yes, there's two parts to this. One, and it's only on the issue whether an extension is appropriate, and if there's any reason you can't extend it. But that's one thing for the board to determine. And then when you discuss whether or not it's ready for a C of O. And those are separate. So
All right.
is there any issue, at this point, the board needs to consider the issue of extending the approval.
All right, I don't actually have any problem extending the approval, even though this is something we probably would not have approved today.
Would you like to make a motion to that effect?
But hang on one second, though.
Sure.
So yeah, I would say that I would make a motion to extend the approval. All right, yeah, I guess it is as simple as that.
Right.
Extend the approval from 2003.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
But
Now,
make it
What
very
about that?
clear,
That's
Nora.
for 7.5 feet.
Well,
It is.
but that's on the C
That's the C of O issue, which is the next.
Right.
Or make
Exactly.
it
That's
very,
just the extension of time.
That's all that we did was extension.
That's it, right.
but we'll make it very clear that the extension of time is only on the approval for the fence and not for the gate, and the gate would require a new application.
Right. And so it's not ready for C of O because it is not 7 foot 6 inches, and we don't have a current survey that shows that it is in fact where it was intended to be, and is 20 feet from the southeast property line, as it's stated in the resolution.
And in addition, there's a structure on the property that does not have ARB approval.
The gate.
The gate. So those are the three reasons it would not be ready for a C of O, so that they have some clarity of what they need to come in and resolve.
Is that clear, Nora?
Yes.
Yes, it is clear.
Okay.
Questions?
I have
Well,
one.
please.
Because we're going into the next one, which is mine, and what I'd like to ask is, what would be the reasons why you wouldn't approve an extension of time? Would there be any?
If there had been a significant change in the code, so that is no longer, they had time in order to come under a earlier provision of the code, and now code has significantly changed such that the town is no longer approving those, and they didn't get it built in time during that period of
Okay.
time. That would be an example of when you would say it's no longer consistent. It could have had it done, but now it's no longer
So
consistent
we're
with
not going to
the
approve the
policy of
extension
the
of
town.
time? That makes
But that would
good
just be an
sense.
example that I can come
Right.
off
No,
the
that's
top
very
of my
good.
head.
Thank you.
That's
I
a
was
good
just-
one.
No, it's excellent. Thank you.
Let me move that forward for you at the Surf Club at Montauk, care of Land Planning Services, tax map number 300-49-6-21, 20 Surfside Avenue in Montauk, Betsy.
Okay, based on the conversations, I will make a motion to approve the extension of time for the Surf Club.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do you want to jump to that C of O, or are there others that are also?
Now, let's just jump to it.
Whole series.
There's a whole series of them that are from different times, but since it's that property, you could, if
Want
the
to do that?
chair so chooses, we could jump to
Yeah,
those.
okay, so because...
Let me
okay.
just read it in, because each one, well, there's no way
Yeah.
to all right, well.
It's the last
Yeah, no,
one.
it's easy to do.
Do
On
you
this
wanna do one
on
at
this-
a time?
Right, no, let's do this one first, which is
The last
Surf Club at Montauk, care of Land Planning Services, for tax map number 300-49-6-21, which is the resolution dated April 7, 2008, which is the one that you're working on.
Which I believe is the
The last
converted
one.
existing enclosed roof deck to a second bathroom.
Okay. So this would be for the number 82 building. And what they originally proposed and the board approved was to take an exterior type of porch area and enclose it so that they get another room within the building. And it is to what we approved, and it looks fine, and it's completed. So I am going to approve this application for the number 82.
Would you be recommending that staff be instructed to let
Yes,
the building department know that on this issue, it's ready for a C of O?
yes, for number 82 at the Surf Club, that it is ready for a C of O.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Which one of these is that?
The last one.
The last
very
one.
last one. This one. Okay.
And
Richard, if you could be so kind to go to the second one.
For the change to commercial?
Yeah,
For
please.
the Surf Club at Montauk, tax map number 300-49-6-21, 20 Surfside Avenue in Montauk, for change to commercial. The resolution is dated March 30, 2016.
Okay. So this is the same situation, just two other buildings, which are number 70 and number 88, and basically did the same thing. They took some exterior decking and turned it into a room here. This is on number 70. This is what it looked like originally.
You remember doing that?
Yep.
That
And
was a snowy day.
it was a snowy day when I was back out there. And then this is number 88. And this is what it looks like today. So they did a nice job.
They did.
look very
They really
good.
did.
So I am recommending that the staff be instructed to let the building department know that number 70 and 88 are ready for C of O.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We'll do the business sign next or the wall?
Well, they're separate applications for some reason, but they really are one issue. So we
Let's just read it in then. Surf Club at Montauk, tax map number 300-49-6-21. One for a business sign. You want to do the
Which one
business
are we
sign
doing,
first?
just because they're all separate letters I have to do?
Business
Okay.
sign. We'll do
Business
you.
sign. So that's the first one.
Thank you.
And this is the resolution dated July 14, 2016. July 14, 2016. Betsy.
So, this was the artwork that was submitted for the sign. This was what was there originally. This is what we approved. And if you give me just 1 minute, I have some information that I just want. Okay. What we approved was a sign that was going to be 19.95 square feet.
Right.
It was 90 inches long and 31.992 inches high. And it just said the Surf Club, and it had this little pinstripe trim and the colors.
And they were removing everything else.
They were moving everything else. And the pinstripe trim was going to be this gray color, and the lettering was going to be a dark navy. Okay. So, this is what is there now, the sign. The pinstripe is not there. They added some lettering, and the size of the sign has increased to over 20 feet. It's like 20 feet and a half. So it looks a little bit more blocky, even though it's like 6 inches one way and 6 inches the other way, where this had a little bit more of a horizontal, longer stretch feeling.
And
The
all of this,
proportions are better on
Yes.
much
Yes.
better
Yes,
on what
yes.
they have.
Even though
proposed.
it's slight, it's slight, okay.
all of the signs are removed, though.
All the signs are, this is.
So this is what we got.
Okay. I think that since it's such a minor change, even though aesthetically you can see the difference.
Is
I
it a
would-
different size?
It is.
Then I would suggest that we have them back in to modify their application so
Right.
that they don't, in future years, have difficulty because their resolution will
Okay.
be for a
Absolutely.
sign that they don't
Right,
have.
right, okay. So I can't approve this, it needs to be modified
I
to
think that if they
to
modify it,
represent the
then we can
new-
let them know that the board is not opposed to their modification, but just that,
It
so
has to
that
be
they have,
modified.
they modify it so that it's consistent with
Great.
what's there, so that they don't have difficulties in the future, should there be a question of whether or not they actually had ARB approval.
Right,
Does it exceed 20?
No, wait.
yes.
Wait. Hey, that's what we approved. That's what they built. They're not the same.
Right.
And what they built is larger than by code.
Oh, it's larger than code?
Yes.
Well, it's 20.41 square feet.
Yeah, so they're beyond code, so they
They're
have to
beyond
get,
code.
if they don't reduce it, they have to go to ZBA. We don't have authority to approve something.
Even if it's just 4 inches?
Do you like that sign?
No?
I don't either. I think the other one's much better.
Right.
That's not what's been approved.
Well, it's not, it's been approved.
So they can, you can tell them that they can come in and request a modification, but they will have to do some
into compliance.
changes to, they can put in a modification for, they can either reconstruct it as approved, they can ask for a modification, but give them heads up, Nora, that as-built is not code compliant, and so they will need to give a proposal that will be code compliant.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, that's fine. And I felt that way, but looking at the materials, I don't know if this can be adjusted. It would have to either be, we're going to
Take it
approve
down,
it.
cut it down.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying, based
Right.
on materials, I don't know if they can cut it smaller. So,
That may be something that is a reason that ZBA may give them a variance on it.
Right.
However, that's not within the
Not
authority of
our-
this board to be able to give them.
okay. So then then we go to the.
Okay.
We have to resolve.
Okay.
So that one is
This is
not-
clear?
Clear to me, yes.
Okay. Let's go to the last, which is the change to commercial.
Hang on one moment,
No.
Karen. Can I get
Sure.
clarification?
it's the wall.
Nancy Lynn, would I still draft up a letter denying the CO and just making them aware that either their
Yes.
options?
Yes.
Thank you. So do I need a motion from Betsy that they're not in compliance?
Yes, that they're not ready, that she states that it's not ready for a C of O for the reasons that she has reviewed.
Thank you.
Okay, so I am making a motion that this is denied and not ready for a certificate of occupancy because it is
It's not as approved.
Not
not as
originally
approved and it's,
approved and not in compliance.
and not in compliance with code.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, and then the last is Surf Club at Montauk, tax map number 300-49-6-21. This is for the resolution dated January 12, 2017 for the wall.
Okay. What we approved on the wall was 3.5 foot high. This is now at 5 feet.
All right. Open shut case.
So this is, again, one
The motion
where
is?
it's not compliant and
It's
not,
not-
it's not consistent with,
With what was approved.
yep.
And there's also the original wall that was there, which was 3.5 feet. There was these posts that held up those signs that they removed, and they didn't take the posts. It's just,
It looks like it, yeah.
yeah, it's unfortunate because the surf club is really a nice, it's one of the nicer condos or whatever you want to call it, resorts in that area, and I don't think that this reflects
Good, okay, so just
the
make a motion.
buildings. So I make a motion not to approve this and that it's not ready for a C of O.
We have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
And Nora, you have enough information to,
Yes.
What would you like to add?
Nothing. Thank you for that. We'll take care of the wall and the sign. I'm wondering if you could do Lowy Driftwood Apartment then,
I'm sorry?
possibly, for a CO?
CO, Lowy Driftwood. It's on page 3, 2 up from the bottom, 3 up from the bottom.
Where are you seeing them?
Lowy Driftwood.
Second to the last page.
Page 3.
Number
2178
Lowry
Montauk Highway.
Driftwood Apartment Corp.
Right here.
Ed.
You have it at the end. and it'll be in the front.
Better read it in.
Okay, fine. Yes, sure. Okay. For Lowy Driftwood Apartment, tax map number 300-110-1-13, which is 2178 Montauk Highway in Amagansett, a crew.
Okay, so this is the Driftwood condos, resort, whatever, in that peak. You may remember this from
Oh, yes.
a while ago, right? It's a sort of peculiar looking building from this side, it's unusual. But I was out there yesterday, and the renovations and additions have been made in accordance with what we approved. So I make a motion that we inform staff to tell the building department that this is ready for a C of O.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Okay. All right, let's just make sure we got all the odds. Okay, for an issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the estate of Edward Leeshaw, care of Roy Greenberg Esquire, tax map number 300-119-6-5 at 2 Rivers Road in East Hampton, Peter.
That's up to
What about comments to planning? Did you miss that?
No, that one has been postponed.
We tabled that. Yeah, it's affordable housing.
Yeah.
It's a very large proposal, and
This is-
I'd
I'm
like
sorry,
them to
this is
make a
tabled,
presentation
the housing.
to us, all right, so that we can all understand it. All right. This has been in front of us, right, a number of times already, right? You know, it's like we've asked them to do a certain number of things, right? Gate, a fence, posts, right, over the property line. Each time they come back, they've done one of the things halfway. Well, right, last time we said you have to lower the fence to 6 feet, right? All they did was take it off the posts and fold it over so that it was down. Now they have cut the fence down to 6 feet, but they've left all the posts at the full height. And I tell you, right, I'm really tired of going out there each time, right, and right, one little piece at a time, right? I mean, is there any way we can say, right,
No.
do it?
Well, what we need to be is completely detailed on what is not in compliance, and I think that this board,
I thought we
are
had done that.
Well, I think that the assumption is that they understood that when they had to cut the fence, that also meant the post. But let's be extremely thorough. Are there any other issues on this property that would need to be remedied other than cutting down the posts in order for it to be ready for a C of O? And then Nora can detail that in the letter to them. But we need to be very clear, because to be fair, we did miss something on, and it was a miscommunication on this originally on the approval, because there was an item that was
The pedestrian 8-foot gate.
there was questions of whether things were included or not included, and it has been, so they had to come back and get that
Pedestrian
clarified.
8-foot gate has been removed,
Excellent.
right? It is lying on the ground, right?
So it's not been removed, it's just been...
Well, it has been uninstalled.
It's been
And that is,
uninstalled.
and if they were to put it back up, they would be in violation of zoning because they don't have approval for it. So that's not whether
Okay,
people
so
put
that's not
fences
holding
back
this
up.
up, it's just
not
the post
our
now.
issue. So it's, just so we're perfectly clear, they have brought the height of the fence appropriately into compliance?
Yes, Peter?
Yes.
Okay. And everything else has been
Betsy's
addressed?
out there to look at it too, right? That was taken right after the snowstorm, right? That one, the first one. Right, the posts need to be cut down to 6 feet.
Okay. And that is the only remaining item?
Wait.
Oh,
wait.
nope, okay.
Are we willing to accept plastic mesh fencing?
Well, what was approved?
Going back so far.
Is that what's there now?
Existing deer,
Plastic?
yes. All right, to be no greater than 6 feet in height and relocated to the applicant's front yard as indicated.
So it's
8-foot wire deer fencing in the rear of the property will remain. Deer fencing in reserve area to be removed as indicated on survey. Wooden gates located at the front of the property are to be removed and do not have architectural review board approval.
So the fencing that you're referring to as being plastic rather than wire mesh, was that existing that was allowed to be moved, or was that new fencing that was given a specific material in the approval?
I don't understand what you just said.
You read
Right
that
now, there is a mixture of wire fencing and plastic fencing. When it exceeded the height that was approved, all they did was unhook it, the plastic, and hang it over. Now what they've done is they've cut off the plastic fencing at,
Right.
But that was
And left the post.
But that was the existing fencing that we simply said had to be lowered. There was
Right.
no requirement in the ARB's approval for it to be of a different material.
No.
And so then that material must
Yeah,
remain.
we can't go there.
okay, fine. I
Should
can't
have been
go
on
out-
the original.
I can't go out there anymore.
So it's just the posts.
Just getting the posts
Reduce
down
the
and
posts down
You
to
got it.
6 feet.
Okay, you have that too?
I do.
Wonderful.
Do I need to make a motion, or?
yes.
Yes,
You
you
make
do.
a motion
Yeah.
that due to certain circumstances which you will articulate, this is not ready.
Make a motion that this is not ready for a certificate of occupancy because the existing posts have not been reduced to 6 feet.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good.
We're good.
Good. For Samuel and Nicole Green, tax map number 300-200-1-3.4, 80 Wainscott Hollow Road. I need to have an updated set of plans on this. This goes back to 2015. This is the actual structure, but the plans that I have are now dated 2015.
Is this
so
an
they're
ag overlay?
pretty
What
old.
is this?
Sorry?
What is, what,
This is a request for a certificate of occupancy.
Yes, but what was the original application?
what was it for? Is it an ag overlay or something?
Yeah, it probably was, because it's opposite Dankowski Farm. Let's see if we can find the paperwork on it. Okay. We approved the addition to the residence and the exterior changes to the existing building as per the building plans in 2015. But the plans that I have, which are dated in 2015, do not match what is there today. So I need an updated set of plans.
Actually, they would have to come in and
built.
modify their resolution because they didn't do it as they were approved.
So this is dated 9/17/15, 2015. So if we can get an as-built set of plans,
And ask them to modify their application.
their application, that would be great.
So we're denying.
So I am denying it at the present time.
You gonna make a motion?
Need a motion.
That's a very good idea, thank you very much. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to deny the application at the present time. We have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. This we don't need, but I took a picture just so we would have it too. Okay. For Christopher Kotke, tax map number 300-157-3-3229 Cedar. This is about this, unfortunately, I could not review because I couldn't get into the detail of this in the present condition. But in looking at this, I noticed that this too presents a bit of a problem as to the dating. This is issued on September 9th, 2016. I don't know if these are the final plans or not. I could not review the removal of the existing pool to be replaced with a new pool. I couldn't tell. And the decking also, it was impossible to be able to access the property.
Because of the snow?
Yeah. So I'd like to, the question was on an agricultural overlay.
Yeah, just let's adjourn it so
Just
that you
table it.
have an opportunity.
great.
Yeah.
Okay. But I may run into a problem on this because these plans are old.
Chairman, you want to adjourn to January 25th?
Please. For Henry Sutton, care of James Harris, tax map number 300-159-1-310, 3 Sawmill Road in East Hampton, Egg Creek.
Right, so this is for some driveway gates on Sawmill Road, which is a little cul-de-sac off of Roberts Lane. We had asked that they be reduced to 5 feet 6. Oh, actually, they were 5 feet 6, but they had lights, which we asked to be removed. There are 2 of them, no light fixtures, and we had asked them to be set back 11 feet from the edge of the pavement. That's in the resolution. And that's exactly how far they are off the pavement. So these have been reconstructed in accordance with our resolution, so I make a motion that we inform staff to instruct the building department this is ready for CO.
We have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think we're down to Demiak.
Damiaki. No.
One more.
Damiaki's Farm Free or Die LLC, tax map number 300-157-3-1.3. Peter.
This is confirmation that the previous approved had been built as per. Right? This is the barn that has been built. I understand the previous resolution had needed a correction, which has been made, and that has been included. The colors are as per previously approved. There's only one issue that I have, and that is that we had also approved 2 greenhouse buildings.
Plastic on it.
Plastic covered. Right. One of them has been built. The other one, I think they got caught in the storm, but all the material is there. It is being built as per the resolution in the correct location, and even though it's not completed, I recommend that we have staff contact the building department and say that this is ready for C of O.
Reasonable.
Can
Give a
we do
second?
that?
Yes, because they will still have to go out there to inspect and give the C of O. So by that time, they probably will have it completed.
I think they just got caught by the weather, all of the
I just
material.
didn't know if technically you could do that. That was my question.
Give a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, we don't have any resolutions to do tonight. Also, we're not approving.
We do.
Excuse me. We're not approving the minutes of December 14th. That has been tabled. Are there any other matters other than these resolutions?
We have 3 extension of time tonight. Everybody can sign us because everybody was here for those.
Give me my pen.
Thank you. There's 3 there.
3.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
No worries. I will.
These are.
Those are just extension of time.
I never saw those before.
Those are from tonight.
All right, these are the resolutions.
No, you can't.
You can use mine for.
Wait a minute. Can you sign?
He can sign
resol-
the extension of time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is extension of time.
These are the ones you voted on tonight. They're done on the same day, so that we can do the C of O.
Yes, ma'am.
That's why it's unusual.
Yes.
And the other one that we have, I don't know if you're up to it.
I thought we were on to
So Mickey,
resolutions.
everybody can sign as well.
One on there.
Yamiaki Farm Free or Die LLC, tax map number 300-157-3-1.3.
That one, just for clarification for the board, that was a one that was on for a C of O tonight, and in reviewing it, it was determined that there was a typographical error, so this is just a substituted, revoking the other resolution and putting in the new resolution with the typographical error fixed.
Okay.
For Glenn W. Olson, tax map number 300-62-1-15.4.
You can sign that one.
It's another extension.
No, that's a resolution. All the extension times are done.
For Dos Gatos, care of Anthony Michaels and Paul Russo, tax map number 300-49-4-45.
These you do not sign, Edwin.
For Wiley Griffiths, care of East Hampton Fence and Gate, tax map number 300-16-3-7.
Richard doesn't because he was not.
He was not
used.
here at the last meeting.
Must have been that.
For Mattress Firm, care of Jamie Shea, tax map number 300-192-2-22. Great. Finally. And I have to tell you, they really did a great job. They took down the other sign, they removed the barricades there, they removed the lights, they put in a Christmas tree in where the box was, and they pulled out all the electrical, so they couldn't even turn the Christmas tree on. But they did a great job. I was very appreciative. They also took a lot of stuff out of the windows, too, so they did good. For Richard and Marianne Ross, care of Skip Nolan, Country Lane Carpentry, tax map number 300-112-2-6.1. For Adora Whitaker, care of East Hampton Fence and Gate, tax map number 300-90-2-5.6. For Marshall and Sons, care of Britton Distrian, tax map number 300-49-3-28. For Lionel and Lily Barish, care of Madeline Ben John, tax map number 300-157-2-11.4. Good. Oops, this goes along with it, I'm sorry. This page fell off, sorry. It goes with it. For Anthony Providenti, tax map number 300-159-4-17.2. Got it. For Robert Shapiro, tax map number 300-90-4-9.3. For Mary Beth Resser, tax map number 300-172-10-27. for John D. Rivers, tax map number 300-92-8-6. For Darrell Fredericks, care of East Hampton, Pencil Gate, tax map number 300-90-4-4.3. In closing, I'd like to welcome Edwin back.
Yay.
I'd like to wish you good health and
I'd like to thank everybody for doing my work for me.
wow. We're just glad to have you back.
And keep it up, right?
I'd like to make a motion to close the meeting. We have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for the water.
Oh, you're welcome.